So, you celebrate this year 20 years. We had
Yeah,
that already.
yeah.
So, how's the tour going so far?
It's going really well. We have tried to go to our favorite places. We've tried to make sure that we're doing things that are fulfilling for us as a band because um, the 20-year anniversary mark is something that I don't want to say unexpectedly have had happen because we always knew we would be in this band until we couldn't play anymore. But I think more than anything, it's remarkable to us that people still care and people still care about punk rock and are fighting for equality and justice in the world. And that's something that is really what is inspirational to us and keeps us going. So therefore, that's why you see us doing Antifest here in Munich,
Okay.
because this is one of our favorite towns, and we wanted to do something special for our 20th year and something special to a city that's really great to us.
Okay, that sounds really cool. So, can you tell us something about the beginnings of the Antifest?
Yeah. This is only its second year. The first year we did it in the UK, in the middle of England, because we wanted to be kind of centrally located. And the idea was to just be a part of this European culture of festivals. As Americans, it's still something that is really exciting to us and interesting. And we have Coachella and Lollapalooza and Bonnaroo, but those are primarily indie rock and really mainstream festivals. They're not as you don't have the punk rock bands. You don't have a De Totenhosen or even Die Ärzte or these bands that are legends in Germany and or even just some of this. We played a free festival the other day in Switzerland. It was in the Italian speaking part of Switzerland, and we were the only band. They set up a stage in the middle of a park, and 2,000 people showed up, and we played a free show that the government of Switzerland paid for, and it's anti-flag. And I was like, this would never happen in America. So, it's something that's really cool, and we just want to be a part of it and support it and show our support of cultures that really support the arts and really support music, and that's why we created Antifest.
That's nice. Sounds really cool. Could you briefly describe your music making process?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because there really is no process for us. We sometimes Justin and I will have whole songs written, and we know what the drums are going to sound like. We know what this is going to sound like, and we just bring it in, and the rest of the guys play it. Sometimes we don't have anything written, and someone makes a mistake, and we go that's a really great thing, and we write a really important song from it. So I found very early on that when we tried to have a process, when we tried to have kind of a creative algorithm to it, it became formulaic, and you could tell. So now what we try to do is we'll write maybe 4 or 5 songs in a row, sit with those for a while, take a break, come back a month later, come back 2 weeks later, and then write another batch of songs so that they all don't sound like they were written at the same time. And that, to us, has given us our most interesting albums. That's the way we wrote Underground Network. That's the way we wrote Terror State. That's the way we did for Blood and Empire. And then we kind of got a little formulaic with even Bright Lights and People Are the Gun. And we realized that we were down this path of doing things the same way, so we kind of shook things up again with General Strike. And I feel like those records where we really take our time and draw the process out and make sure that every one of us has something that we really back on the record, that's when we get the records that define Anti-Flag. And if you ask me which those records are, I'd say General Strike for Blood and Empire, Terror State, and Die for the Government are the defining Anti-Flag records.
Okay, yeah. So you play bass and guitar, right?
Yeah.
So what was the first song, do you remember, you learned to play on the guitar?
Yeah, it was Drain You by Nirvana. That was the first song I learned how to
nice.
play on guitar, yeah. I like to play the drums, but I'm not very good at them.
Oh, okay, so just for fun, for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
I sometimes steal them from Pat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Simple song.
Yeah. What has been your inspiration the last 20 years to play as a band?
I mean, it's ever changing. When we first started, it was the idea of getting out of Pittsburgh, and then once we got outside of Pittsburgh, it was the idea of getting to California. And then once we got to California, it was the idea of, touring the entire country. And then we went to Europe for the first time in 2002, and that changed the entire thing for us. We started writing songs that were more globally focused and had the idea that we could reach people in Germany, reach people in the United Kingdom, reach people in Spain and Switzerland, and these places that we would have never imagined going 2 years before. So, but the main thing that keeps coming back is this idea that people are more important than profit. And that's the main message of Anti-Flag, that nationalism and any inequality in the world is wrong. And we're going to keep writing songs and keep playing shows until we live in a world where that doesn't exist.
No, that's nice. That's a nice inspiration. So can you tell me, how has your music evolved since you've been playing as a band together? I
think that our main driving forces behind why we write songs and the music that we loved when we were kids, we still love. If I listen to The Clash, if I listen to the Dead Kennedys, if I listen to Minor Threat, I still go like, damn it, I want to write a song that sounds like that. So it's still the same as whenever I was 16. But I think the biggest change is that we learned how to play. When you're in a band for 20 years, that's a lot of practice and a lot of shows. And so I feel like we're better musicians now than we've ever been. And that's a really cool place to be in. So now sometimes when we want to achieve certain sounds, we have the ability to do so, whereas maybe we were limited in the past.
So, and what was your biggest challenge as a band? Do you remember?
Yeah, we've had so many, with whether it's like Justin getting carbon monoxide poisoning in '99, and I had to sing for almost an entire Warped Tour where we were playing, and that was a really difficult time. Or Pat had some personal problems, and we had to play with a friend of ours who plays in a band with me called White Wives. His name's Tyler. He plays drums, and he had to fill in for us for a while. That was a very difficult process to be in because we weren't sure whether what was happening with Pat was going to lead to him having to leave the band, or if that meant the band was going to break up. I had to deal with losing my sister at one point, and I didn't know if I ever wanted to play music again. And so we each as individuals have had our own personal things that have gone on that have made us question whether or not we were doing the band a service or a disservice by being around. So that, more than anything, has been what has been difficult for us. We never have difficulty with, should we play a show, should we not play a show, or should we put out a record on this record label or not. Like, that stuff is so trivial to us. We've learned over 20 years that the friendship that we have amongst each other and our personal sanity is far more important than the band. And we put each other first, and that's why we've been able to stay together this long and not kill each other.
That's good. So you told us the last time that you have like a secret ritual before every gig. You're brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you do afterwards?
Afterwards?
Washing your hair or...
Yeah, no. Afterwards, it's never the same. I don't know. Yeah, last night we were playing songs on a little guitar, but yeah, there's no post-show ritual. Maybe... I don't know.
Or maybe what you think of after a gig.
After the show, I think I count the mistakes, and then I wonder if it was a good or a bad show. But most of the time I know if it's a good show right away. But sometimes I have to reaffirm to myself, that's okay, that was still a good show, don't worry. And then you move on. But yesterday after the show, I think we ate. Sometimes if you play early, you have to eat. Yeah, sometimes I definitely will eat a banana. But sometimes if you play early, you don't get to eat before. Tonight we play late, so I'll probably eat before the show. But
okay,
that's
maybe it's better.
None of this is important.
So, because we saw you live in Novorok, it was amazing.
Great.
It was really awesome.
I had a good time.
I'm just asking myself, how do you get the energy? You tell me now you didn't eat or something before the show. So how do you do that? I mean, you're not the youngest anymore. Just kidding.
To be honest, sometimes I'm completely exhausted, completely sore and tired, and we start playing, and I don't even know that, I exist. You go through it because it's what we love to do. It's what we do. So I think that because of that mentality, we as a band put on the same show to the 50,000 people we played to yesterday with the Totenhosen, to the 500 to 1,000 that will be here tonight. The show is no different. The band is no different. And if the other thing is we communicate. If I'm feeling like shit, I'm going to say, hey, I'm feeling like shit, and Justin's going to work harder. Maybe you look at him more that day than you look at me. So, well, that's okay. We get each other's backs.
Yeah, that's nice. So, how do you spend your free time as a band? I mean, like veggie barbecue or something? I don't know.
We don't spend free time together when we're at home because we see each other enough on the road.
Space,
yeah. But I play ice hockey, and that's something that I really like to do when I'm at home. When we're on tour, like we had 3 days off. We went to the beach in Italy. And some of us hung out together. Some of us did our own thing. If people want their own time, we give them their own time. So, it's like anything. If you do something long enough, if you work with the same people forever, if you're, in a relationship with the same person, you have to be open and say like, yep, right now I don't want to see you. And
that's true. So, do you have any future plans or upcoming releases you want to share with us?
We have this release that's on pre-order now. It's a 7-inch series for the 20th anniversary of the band. That's on afrecords.com, and it's a really cool thing where we went through each album and we re-recorded one of our favorite songs from each record. Not necessarily the hit from each song, but from each record, but songs that we thought were really important. And some are full band versions, some are acoustic songs, and it'll be, it's going to be a really cool hand-cut, hand-printed package. So if you're a record collector, it's a really cool piece for you. That's going to come out at the end of the summer. And other than that, we're probably going to do a U.S. tour in the fall and take a break for a while. We've been a band for a long time. We've been doing a lot of things, and maybe it's time for us to see if we can survive on our own a little bit.
Okay, sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So I wish you the best for the future.
Thank you.
For the show. Thank you very much for your time, Chris.
Yeah, this was great.
It was nice to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you.
So,
ciao.
Enjoy your